The Grand Ballroom in Victoria Island, Lagos, sparkled with 1,000 lights. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling like frozen waterfalls, and men in expensive suits stood beside women dripping in gold and diamonds. Everyone had come to celebrate one man, Chukwuemeka Okofor, the billionaire tech genius who had just turned 30. But Chukwuemeka was not looking at the decorations or listening to the speeches. His eyes were fixed on the entrance, waiting, hoping, praying that she would walk through those doors. When the music stopped suddenly, everyone turned to look. A woman stood at the entrance, tall and beautiful in a deep purple dress that shimmered under the lights. Her dark skin glowed like polished mahogany, and her natural hair was styled in elegant twists that crowned her head like royalty. That was Addis Namdi. The girl Chukwuemeka had loved since he was 15 years old. The girl he had been forced to leave behind. The girl he had never forgotten. Whispers filled the room like wind through dry leaves. Who is she? Look at how she carries herself. Is that Emeka's woman? Chukwuemeka's mother, Chief Mrs. Okofor, stood up from her seat, her face turning hard as stone. His father stopped mid-conversation with a senator and stared. They knew exactly who she was. They were the ones who had torn them apart 15 years ago. Chukwuemeka walked across the ballroom floor, his expensive shoes clicking on the marble. Every eye followed him. When he reached Addis, he took her hand gently and raised it to his lips. You came, he whispered, his voice shaking with emotion. I promised I would, she replied softly, tears already forming in her eyes. I waited 15 years for this moment. He pulled her close, right there in front of everyone, and the crowd gasped. His parents' faces went pale. A billionaire's son, holding hands with a woman from a simple background. A woman whose only crime was loving him with her whole heart. A woman his family had rejected because she was not from their world. Emeka, his father's voice boomed across the room. We need to talk. Now. Chukwuemeka turned slowly to face his parents. His jaw was set, his shoulders square. Not now, father. Tonight belongs to her. His mother stepped forward, her voice low but sharp like a knife. This is not acceptable. You know the consequences of bringing her here. Then let there be consequences, Chukwuemeka said firmly. I have spent 15 years building an empire. I have made your company billions. I have done everything you asked. But I will not spend one more day without the woman I love. The ballroom went completely silent. Even the waiter stopped moving. Addis' hand trembled in his, but Chukwuemeka held it tighter. His father's face turned red with anger. If you choose her, you will lose everything. The company, the inheritance, your place in this family. Everything. Chukwuemeka looked at Addis, then back at his father. Then I choose her. The room exploded with shocked voices. His mother put her hand over her mouth. His father pointed at the door. Get out. Both of you. Get out of my house. But before anyone could move, Addis pulled her hand away from Chukwuemeka. Her face was wet with tears. No, she whispered. I cannot let you destroy your life for me. Not again. She turned and ran toward the exit, her purple dress flowing behind her like water. Addis, wait. Chukwuemeka shouted, but she did not stop. He started to run after her, but his father grabbed his arm. Let her go, Emeka. It is better this way. Chukwuemeka yanked his arm free and stared at his father with eyes full of pain and anger. You took her from me once. You will not do it again. He ran out of the ballroom, leaving behind the shocked guests, the angry parents, and the life he had built for 15 long years. Outside, the Lagos night was hot and humid. Addis was already getting into a taxi. Chukwuemeka ran into the street, his expensive suit jacket flying behind him. Addis, stop. Please, he shouted. The taxi was already pulling away, but he could see her face through the back window. She was crying. He ran faster, his heart pounding, his lungs burning. The taxi turned the corner and disappeared into the Lagos traffic. Chukwuemeka stood in the middle of the road, breathing hard, his hands on his knees. A security guard from the mansion ran up to him. Sir, your parents are calling you back inside. Tell them I am not coming, Chukwemeka said quietly. He pulled out his phone and called his driver. Taiwo, bring the car. Now. We are going to Sorale. Within minutes, his black Mercedes pulled up. Chukwemeka jumped in, and they sped through the busy Lagos streets. He knew exactly where Addis would go. To the small art school she had built with her own hands. The place where she taught children to paint and draw. The place where her heart lived. The drive from Victoria Island to Sorale took almost an hour because of traffic. Every red light felt like torture. Every slow-moving Danfo bus made him want to scream. Finally, they arrived at a modest building with bright murals painted on the walls. Children's artwork covered every window. A sign above the door read, Addis Art Haven. Chukwemeka got out of the car and walked to the gate. It was locked. He knocked loudly. Addis. I know you are in there. Please, open the door. Silence. He knocked again, harder this time. Addis, we need to talk. You cannot run away from me again. Still nothing. Chukwemeka pressed his forehead against the metal gate. I have waited 15 years, he said, his voice breaking. 15 years of thinking about you every single day. 15 years of wondering if you were happy, if you were safe, if you still remembered me. Please, do not make me wait anymore. Slowly, the gate creaked open. Addis stood there in the doorway, still wearing her purple dress, but her makeup was smeared from crying. Why did you come here, Emeka? She asked tiredly. You should be with your family. They need you more than I do. That is not true, he said, stepping closer. I do not need their money. I do not need their company. I only need you. She shook her head. You say that now, but what about tomorrow? What about next year? You will wake up one day and realize you gave up everything for a woman who sells art supplies and teaches poor children how to paint. Chukwemeka took her hands in his. Do you remember what I told you the night before I left for university? I told you I would come back for you. I told you that you were my black queen, and queens do not wait forever. Fresh tears rolled down Addis' cheeks. That was 15 years ago. We were children. We were children who made a promise, he said firmly. And I have kept that promise. Every day, every month, every year. I never dated anyone else. I never looked at another woman the way I look at you. My parents tried to arrange marriages with senators' daughters, businessmen's daughters, even a governor's niece. But I said no to all of them. Addis' voice was barely a whisper. Why? Because my heart belongs to you, Chukwemeka said. It always has. It always will. They stood there in the doorway, the Lagos night buzzing with generators and distant music. Addis wanted to believe him. She wanted to fall into his arms and never let go. But fear held her back. Fear of his family's anger. Fear of destroying his future. Fear of not being good enough. Come inside, she said finally. We should not talk out here. Chukwemeka followed her into the art school. The walls were covered with children's paintings. Bright suns, smiling families, colorful birds. Everything was simple but beautiful, just like Addis. She sat on a wooden bench, and he sat beside her. Tell me everything, she said. Tell me about these 15 years. Tell me why you really came back.